everyone, and welcome back to Bugs Bunny Lost in Time on the Sony PlayStation 1. I am One More Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna be finishing off the pirate years of the game and finishing off the very final pirate stage, Mine or Mine? But before we head off to actually do that, we will be revisiting the medieval period because we do have yet another bonus level to deal with. And yeah, well, I guess from this bonus level, we're gonna need to be dealing with Daffy Duck yet again, folks. What can I tell ya? Just like with the very first bonus level of the game, and I have fond memories of playing this one, ladies and gentlemen, because it's just an interesting, unique, and different. It's different, you know, it's a different take on the main gameplay of the game, which I appreciate. And it's basically right down to the side of the castle, right in the moat here. Downhill Duck! Without any further ado, let's begin.
Well, I'll bet you can't beat me, fur-face.
And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we are basically, it's basically snowboarding, not snowboarding, but it's basically a snow skiing level, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not too different from, oh god. As I was saying, it's not too different from the likes of Ice Cap Zone in Sonic Adventure 1. Basically, we need to press the square button in order to speed up at will, and we need to basically avoid as many projectiles as whatnot as we can while collecting the clocks in order to reach the bottom of this gigantic snowy mountain, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And this is actually quite a tricky stage, and while it may seem like it's a race, much like the previous race stages in the game, it's basically a time checkpoint race, you know, we just need to get to the end by the time limits, that's all there is to it. I'm surprised they didn't go with proper races, I have no idea why, but I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to bother with programming AI to make a proper race, but I don't know, basically we can hold down the square button to go faster, and it's probably recommended if we want to get around a bunch of these gigantic snowballs in the environment. You know, we're going to want to hold down the square button to go as quick as possible to avoid them. And basically, if you touch anything in a stage, if you touch a wall, you die. If you touch a tree, you die. If you touch a fence, you don't die, but you take a loss of health, you know, ladies and gentlemen. So do your best with this one, folks. You will probably die a lot when you don't know what you're meant to be doing. But apart from the fact that if you touch anything you die, the stage itself is extremely quick to go through. It's extremely easy. It's not a hard one at all, you know, ladies and gentlemen. But it's definitely an enjoyable time, what can I say?
You're despicable.
You just hate me 'cause you ain't me, Daffy. That's all there is to it. But yeah, that's a pretty fun level. I like that one. It's a nice little side distraction. The only sort of issue I have with these bonus levels, unfortunately, are the fact they never reoccur, you know, ladies and gentlemen. They're really underutilized. They're really underperforming. Like, that stage was fun and all, but I would like the gameplay style to return for another level, you know, ladies and gentlemen. The same thing goes with the car level as well that we played way earlier on in the 1930s. It's such an underutilized gameplay style. They could have done so much more with it, but they just didn't. They didn't elect to add more of these levels, more variety levels. You know, ladies and gentlemen, and it's just a shame. It's just a very big shame. But anyway, we are back in the pirate years, and that's we're gonna go and head right on back into the Follow the Red Pirate Road quickly first, because we do have access to
Open sesame.
Yep, the open sesame power to open up this rock in the way to get the last of the golden carrots and the last clock of the stage. So, you know. But as soon as we're done with this, we're going to be moving into the brand new stage of the game, ladies and gentlemen. The Mine or Mine level that's just opened up. And it is the final pirate stage. So we are almost done with the pirate era, you know, folks. by the end of this part, we will never have to deal with pirates yet again. Ever again, even. Unless we play another video game on this YouTube channel that has pirates, of course. But that's just semantics now at that point. But, yeah, I actually forgot about that almost, and about returning to... I almost forgot about returning to pick those power-ups up, so it's a good thing I did remember, but, you know, let's just pop on by mine, and deal with Yosemite Sam for the final time. Oh boy.
Gotcha!
Oh, come on, Sam. That was just rude. God, why would... No wonder no one likes you, Yosemite Sam. Jesus, I know you're meant to be a pirate and all, but... snagging something right as someone else is about to grab it? That's just mean. But anyway, this is the final pirate stage, as I said, and I love the music in this stage. I don't know how well you guys will probably be able to hear it. You probably won't be able to hear it that well at all, but the soundtrack in this level is phenomenal. I just love the tune. It's very melodic, it's very chilled out, and I don't know, I think it's pretty damn good. What can I tells ya? What can I tells ya indeed? And I'm pretty certain the fans of the Donkey Kong franchise will be quite into this one, ladies and gentlemen, as well, because, well, a very big portion of the stage is a minecart ride, which we aren't going to be dealing with until way late into the level, but, you know, if you're a fan of Donkey Kong, you may like it, I'm just say that much. But anyway, first things first, we need to light up all of these torches in order to get rid of that fire right in the center of the room. As soon as that fire is gone, the clock will be collectible by us, you know, ladies and gentlemen, so, it's a bit of an easy, bit of a neat challenge, what can I tells ya? Great! So, yeah. But yeah, this is probably one of the more slower paced levels out of all the pirate years. I mean, it's easy, and it's not really boring, but not so much really happens. It's just going from point A to point B while mundanely collecting stuff, you know, ladies and gents. So nothing's really too cryptic, nothing's really too out there to collect. The hardest thing to collect will probably be this one Acme box by here, because you have to do a really pinpoint precise jump, and I don't know how I made that jump. by all meanings, I shouldn't have made that jump, but I did. But, you know. By the way, we do need to activate these clams to grab hold of these pearls, because that pedestal that we've already jumped on a couple of times will be required. We do need to put the pearls inside this pedestal in order to make these platforms rise up from the ocean floor. So we are able to progress into the next island over there, and honestly, this is the smallest part of the stage, you know. The majority of this level, the majority of the time you're probably going to spend in this level, is probably going to be on the minecart sequence that we're going to do at the very end. And while for me the minecart sequence didn't last too long, I was cutting out a lot of mistakes and what have you, you know, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll talk more about that when I get to it, you know, folks. But for the meantime, hey, it's a guy. I'm gonna deal with him right now. The motherfucker. Yeah, that really annoyed me. It's like, oh, I'm about to take him out just fine, and he conks me with a coconut. Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful about this enemy type. Sort of weave your way around to hurt him, but fortunately, the moment you destroy the peg that was attaching the tree to the floor, you know, he'll be sent off flying into the distance, you know, ladies and gentlemen, which I do appreciate. It's easy to, you know, it's easy to deal with. What can I say? Bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, it's basically nothing new really introduced to the stage for the most part. We're just gonna go through this, you know, just burn a couple of crates, burn a couple of TNTs, explode the mooks. You know, it's general things we've sort of come to expect now, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, while the stage doesn't seem like the most interesting level, it's still pretty fun. You know, I still think this is an alright stage, all things considered. And honestly, If we went for the minecart sequence being as difficult as it is, well, I say difficult, it's not that hard. But, honestly, I wouldn't have complained if this was like the first pirate level and the original pirate level we first played just wasn't in the game at all, you know, ladies and gentlemen? Like, honestly, that stage was so boring. And I still would argue that the weakest stages in this entire game are the pirate themes ones, you know. The pirate theme ones are interesting idea-wise, but they don't really do enough to really make them interesting. So I always find these to be the weakest levels out of the entire game. You know, my favorite levels being the 1930s for obvious reasons, because the 1930s is a badass time. What can I tell you? But we do need to take out this mook by here because he stole the gigantic wheel that we're going to need to utilize. Because that wheel will hold... Well, it basically holds the way to open up a gate in the very starting area that will allow us to get access to TNTs to open up the mine shaft itself. So, the clock inside there will be mine! Get it? Because it's a mine shaft. And the clock will be mine. No one. Okay, well, I try. You know, sometimes with the unappreciation of my jokes, it just makes me go arg, you know? I'm so sorry. Someone's gonna freak out because of the puns I'm making. I do apologize, but you know, there's no need to be such a peg in the ground. If I said that a bit earlier on, that probably would have made more sense, because I said that way after I kicked the peg out of the ground. But that's beside the point. Anyway, just take this barrel. This is one of those clocks that may be a little bit tricky to figure out. You need to follow this barrel all the way down into the river itself in order to pick up the clock. And it's awkward, what can I tell you, because the barrel itself doesn't stop moving when you pick up the clock, and... from what I can tell is your control basically completely gets taken away as soon as you grab the clock itself. So I grab the clock and then I need to hope to God that the platform's still there when I'm landing to do my great animation, you know, ladies and gentlemen, but I digress. Oh boy, very slow monotonous carrying. Like seriously, I really wish they made the speed of carrying things a lot quicker, but you know, speed up time. Oh boy, I love editing. It makes things so much better. So yeah, you basically need to try and take 2 or 3 of these barrels and blow them up in front of the cave entrance in order to opening up. You don't need all 3, I don't believe. I think you only really need 2 of these barrels to blow the thing up. But it's usually good to have a 3rd one on hand just in case. And that was delayed. Why, game? God damn. Oh. But with that, now we are in the minecart section of the game as well, and any fans of Donkey Kong, any fans of Donkey Kong 64 more specifically, because this is closer to Donkey Kong 64 in terms of how these minecart sequences work, well, they'll be quite happy to see these, because these sequences, basically you push the X button and jump, then you can tilt your wagon to the left and right whenever the objects are on the left and right to you, and you basically need to do that in order to avoid explosives and pick up collectibles along the way. However, one thing that may catch some people off guard in this minecart sequence is the fact that you can't hold left for too long, you can't hold right for too long a period, you only get like a second or two to actually move left and right. So if I'm holding left too much, then basically I'm gonna fall into a pit or get clipped by but basically by something, you know, folks, so it can be a little bit tricky. And this minecart sequence for loads of people is... yeah, there we go, that's basically what happens if you hold the button down too long, you just fall. But this minecart sequence is what many people consider to be one of the more confusing sequences in this game, because basically, in order to collect everything, whenever you come across these target symbols, you basically need to jump into them, and these will set you off a different path. Now, if you don't hit any of these targets, you will head straight into the end of the stage, and you'll just keep going forward constantly until you fight Sam. But you need to hit these, otherwise you'll miss collectibles, you'll miss all the objects, and just finding out when you should hit the targets and when you shouldn't hit the targets, it can be a little bit confusing to a lot of people when they're first time playing through the game. Although, honestly, for the most part, the general rule of thumb is always hit the target when you see it, when you haven't been through a sequence once yet, and you'll be able to pick up any collectibles on your way. Basically, you need to keep an eye out on set pieces. You need to keep an eye out on the actual environment to make sure you're going in the right direction and you're repeating. You know, ladies and gentlemen, it's basically an idea of keep an eye on everything and you'll get through this no problems. What can I say? But, you know, it is a tricky stage. It is very, very, very tricky to work on. Oh god, so many damn carrots. It's a shame I have the maximum amount. It can be very tricky to figure out what you're meant to do, though, you know, your first time through. Because a lot of the time you'll probably get confused on your first playthrough thinking, okay, what if I hit this target? What if I hit this target and it sends me in the wrong route, you know, ladies and gentlemen? And the targets will always send you in the route that isn't basically the main way to go. That's the best way to explain these sequences. But I like it, you know, I like this sequence. It's a nice change of pace, and I usually enjoy the minecart sequences in the likes of Donkey Kong 64 and what have you. So, you know, this makes me happy, you know, ladies and gentlemen. This gives me a bit of a nostalgia boner, if you will. But, this minecart sequence can take a little bit of getting used to, you know, ladies and gentlemen. And that golden carrot I just sort of skipped there, I will be getting it on my second pass around. There's two ways you can sort of get that golden carrot specifically, and the way I recommend is to just take the damage from the TNT and move on, you know, ladies and gentlemen. Don't really bother too much with, don't worry if you can't get it normally, because you get plenty of opportunities in order to get more health back, you know, ladies and gentlemen. You get more opportunities in order to survive. So just ignore it for the time being, and on a second run through the stage like right now, just dive straight through the TNTs themselves. That's basically what I recommend. What can I tells ya? What can I tells ya indeed? There you go. Like I said, I just don't worry about jumping over the thing, you know, folks. But yeah, we're pretty much on the last stretch now. We are almost done with this, ladies and gentlemen, so it shouldn't be too long until the stage is over and done with. But yeah, overall, I just sort of like this stage, you know, it's a pretty fun one. The only thing that you may need to watch out for as well is these guys. These guys holding the gigantic plank of woods in your way. Because what will happen is they'll basically, if they're holding the plank of wood really high, they'll lower it, so you have to jump over the top. And if they are if they're holding the plank of wood lower when you're coming up to them, they'll pick it up higher, which basically means you will need to crouch by pushing the circle button in order to go completely underneath it and not get clipped. Now, the game itself doesn't actually tell you to do this. It doesn't tell you that you're able to duck, which is a bit... It's a bit annoying. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, all things considered. What can I tells ya? What can I tells ya, indeed? But, one thing I do find is a bit of a shame, however, is the music in the stage. They don't have any specific minecart music. It just has that... one of the typical you know, it has a typical basic soundtrack used in other places of the game, which... I don't know, it's a bit of a missed opportunity. They could have had like a unique soundcart. Could have had a unique minecart soundtrack, but they don't, which is a shame. But anyway, now is Yosemite Sam, and what you basically need to do by here to take care of him is basically knock him into the TNT. When he blows up enough, you will get yourself a free clock, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if this area loops around, because I know that most of the fights against Yosemite Sam in this stage will loop around until you are able to actually beat him. For example, this fight by here that we're about to do, where Sam's going to come up alongside us and he's going to drop bombs at us. Basically, whack Sam when he comes nearby and he'll take off a bit of health. Be sure to collect any golden carrots along the way. Be sure to jump over to any TNT crates that he'll drop, which he loves to drop, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, there's no real challenge to beating this guy. It's just a matter of pushing the D-pad to the right whenever Sam just pops up to your right. You know, folks, what can I tells ya? But, yeah, after a while you'll be able to quite easily take Sam out. And, we'll be able to move on with our Merry Way. Oh my. Yes. When we get to this point as well, we need to press the sign just to keep moving forward into the end of the stage. This might throw some people off because the game doesn't really give you any indicator that you have to hit that sign. So you may end up finding yourself looping around the track like 4 to 5 to 6 different times, which is not all that cool. What can I say? But yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty much it with that stage. So, with that is the end of this part. So, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And when we return next time, we'll be entering Train Your Brain, which is actually the final stage of the game, folks. That is right, we are on the finale of the playthrough. We will... Well, basically, we're almost done. We can almost finish off this LP and move on to other projects. And, you know, I'm kind of happy about that, because this LP behind the scenes has been a bit more trouble than you'd expect, but I won't delve too much into that. Basically, this LP's over and done with almost, so, yeah, thank you all for watching, hope you all enjoyed, don't be sheepish, and I'll catch you all again. Bye!